TV show? You want to go do your TV show? You ready to go do your TV show, bud? We're going to do it here this week because we're not going to go see Victor. Victor's sick. We're going to do it here. You ready to do it? You ready to do your TV show? Welcome to the Stellar Show, Fayette County TV, Channel 77 in Q-Call, Breezelight, myself, Ken Philibom, the Duke, minus Victor, Stellar Spectacle Shop in the Uniontown Mall, owner this week for Episode 5, Season 2, Episode 55 overall, and if I mess that up, my apologies. Victor's a little under the weather this week, and despite rumors started on all the fan message boards by showrunner Adam, he's not ducking the show because of how bad all his Super Bowl picks were. But Victor, rest up because we need you back and healthy next 2 weeks from now when you, myself, and the Duke all take on the NFL draft class at the Combine. We're going to run the 40-yard dash inside the mall and put our numbers up against the draft class prospects that are coming in. And yes, you heard me correctly. The Duke is going to be taking on these prospects as well. But before I get too far ahead of myself, because I'm good at doing that, because I just get distracted a little too easy here, I want to thank Mike Kelly Toyota of Uniontown. Mike Kelly Automotive isn't just about cars, it's about trust. With a wide range of vehicles and personalized service, we make your car buying experience easy and enjoyable. Come see why generations have chosen us for their automotive needs. Now, even though we aren't in Victor's shop, look, I've been sitting on a lot of this mystery wax and just mystery stuff that I picked off the last couple of weeks on eBay one night when I was just bored and picked it off cheap. But that being said, we've gotten a lot of positive feedback on these music cards, so we're going to open one of these first. And maybe we'll have some fun with this next week when we're back in the shop, Victor. Rest up, like I said once again, and looking forward to seeing you and being back to normal, hopefully next week. So, and I'll take a picture of these and we'll get them on there. So we got Hart, Ziggy Marley, Maxie Priest, Adam Ski, I think I pronounced that right, which is interesting. Let's see here. I worked with an Adam Ski at one point. Hot House Flowers, Karen White, Shy. Boy, they really dug far in the dictionary for that name. Crow Mags, Historic Posters of The Who, The Party, and I don't recognize any of this crap. Caden, have fun. But something, and what I'll get a good picture too. This one here has been bothering me for a few weeks. So what we got here was one of this. This is this sports pack from the early '90s. This stuff used to be everywhere. Victor and I, we've been having fun making fun of some of this stuff, and there's going to be more to come. So stay tuned for that. But this particular one, I just need to open something because I can't wait another week of letting this sit around. Dean, if you're seeing this, I opened up that Steeler jersey. It's already on eBay because it was a dud and it didn't fit. So I'm going to be looking for more of those mystery jerseys at some point, and we'll get a picture of that, or I'll show it next week. So this first one where they rooped you in, they got a Magic versus Jordan 91 Upper Deck on one side, and Larry Johnson, who was a hot prospect in the early 90s, on the other. So we'll just go through those real quick. Dennis Scott's a recognizable name. John Stockton, Manute Bull, that's fun. Otis Thorpe, John Paxson, and a lot of these are sticking together, and that's probably a reason for that. We'll go to the other one, Larry Johnson, Paul Pierce. This is just a bunch of crap. That's the only way to put it. The only thing I was hoping for here, and we're gonna get to it. So this version of hoops here, if we got the, which I don't see, there's Ralph Sampson, and a bunch of this wild card nonsense. So nothing there. I was looking for the John Starks card with the Menendez brothers in the background. So that said, we'll get pictures of that in there. We'll get that spliced in. And before we close this up, to make use of the time this week, this past weekend, along with the Polakowskis and the Billers, my sister and her family, we were down in Wheeling, West Virginia. Keven Stevens they had Pittsburgh Penguin Night, and Keven Stevens was there. For those of you that have been with Fayette County TV from the beginning, there's a special that aired about 2 years ago on YouTube that aired with Keven Stevens, talking about his life, and anyone. I think everyone should check this out. So that being said, I had the honor of interviewing Keven Stevens. I got a few minutes with him, which I'm grateful for, and he wanted to pass along, tell everyone from Fayette County TV hi, because we were kind of pushed for time. But it was a good time with Keven Stevens. I'll tell you what, the man was a class act. He signed for everybody that came through. He signed for well over 1,000 people that night. Here's a picture of what I got signed. Here's a picture of a puck that he signed for me, and also. I love how and it's not just him, but over the years, these personalized autographs I've gotten, it's always kind of fun. They write to Ken, but when they put it close together, it looks like they wrote out the word token. So, I don't know, just something fun for me. But want to check out this interview with Keven Stevens and also check out the piece that follows. Also want to thank the Wheeling Nailers for allowing us time, and the Pittsburgh Penguins for allowing us to speak with Keven Stevens, and also Mike Frick specifically, who helped me out a lot. So take care, enjoy this piece with Keven Stevens from 2 years back, and share it, because there's a lot of people I think that could take from this. Even if one person takes one thing from it, it's well worth sharing. We'll see you next week from Victor's Shop in Uniontown Mall. Rise Wrestling will follow us. Take care. Ken Phillip, I'm here with the great Keven Stevens, and friend of Fayette County TV. We've had you on. You did a special with us a few years back. Ran into him down in Wheeling, West Virginia. How are you today, sir?
Everything's good. Good night over here in Wheeling, I'll tell you. A lot of people, so pretty good.
Hey, I'm glad to have you back with Fayette County TV. Like, you're a legend. I saw you recently just got added to the USA Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I tell you what, Toronto, you've been slating this guy for far too long. No, you should be in there. And you know what? You carried me on NHL at Super Nintendo
a couple of years.
A lot of years. But you're going to be up at Mainline between May 16th and 18th. Dates and times and prices will be there. This man signed a lot of autographs tonight. You got to be tired.
Tonight was a long night. It was,
you know what?
Yeah, it was a lot of people here. It was good though. A lot of kids, so that's the best thing.
Absolutely.
A lot of kids. It was fun. It's a good night. It's always nice to come to Wheeling. I don't come down here too much, but so it was nice to get down here. They had a nice rink here. They do a good job. They win hockey games, so come on down, man.
Absolutely. You know what? A lot of people walked away with a smile, happy, which always happens at Wheeling, especially for as good as they're playing. But once again, get up to the Mainline show and stop and see Mr. Stevens. It will be a USA Hockey Hall of Fame. So hopefully at some point, we're going to close this up because it sounds like there's an intermission and we want to help Mr. Stevens out.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Good stuff. Thanks, guys.
Sir.
I really haven't seen it in a while, so it's, I don't know, it's tough to, I don't know, it's my story. I'll just, first of all, it's good to be here, it's good to be sober, it's good to be here, and, I don't know, watching that again, watching that story again, it's kind of just puts it kind of all in perspective, what addiction is and I know a lot of us here today are we're in addiction, a lot of the people here today, and my brain, just you guys saw that video there, you see that this thing doesn't pick and choose, right? When like I said, I grew up in Boston. I never was really around addiction, never really around drugs or anything like that, and all of this all kind of happened. Like, I went to college and I went to the Olympic team. Then I went to Pittsburgh to play for the Penguins. So my life was pretty good. I had a great path to my life, and this all happened when I was at the top of my life. I had won two Stanley Cups. We're going for our third Stanley Cup. I was a first-team All-Star. My life was good. It was really good, and I made a decision. They talk about a decision. I made a choice one night. Same thing. I was with the guys a million times, and same thing. I was having a couple of beers after the game in New York City, and someone handed me something, and I was 28. I never was involved with drugs, so I really didn't know what I was taking, and I made that choice. We all make choices and decisions, and I made a choice that night to try this, and that was my choice. If I didn't make that choice, I definitely wouldn't be standing. Who knows what would have happened, right? But when I did that, as you guys all know, you deal with addiction is something went off in my brain. Something changed. that night when I did that line of cocaine, you know, something changed. It didn't change that night. It didn't change, but something gradually started to affect the way I was thinking. And I thought about that night, and I thought about, you know, that drug. And I thought about when I can do it, you know, maybe I should try that again. And just the path of my life changed that night. And then from there, you guys saw kind of what happened. It was like, you know, what we do when we're stuck in addiction. When I'm stuck, you know, that progression, all becomes addiction. Then I have no choice, right? You know, everybody's, you know, you just talk to some of the guys, my teammates, who were awesome through the whole thing, but they wanted me to stop, right? But, you know, as you all know who are in recovery here or battle through addiction, it's not as easy just to stop, right? You know, how are we going to stop? You know, how am I going to stop? You know, how you know, I go into treatment, I get in trouble, I'm doing all these crazy things, but I go into treatment for 30 days and people think I can come out and go right back to playing hockey and I'm going to stay sober, you know. I have no program, I have no way to stay sober. You know, for me, the only way I know how to stay sober is through help from other people. You know, people helping people. I can't stay sober alone. You know, when I played hockey, the biggest thing everybody cared about was when is he going to come back and play? You know, so I came right out of treatment, and then I went back on the ice and I played. And then all the other stuff was kind of like forgot about, right? You know, they forgot that I can blame myself. I'm not blaming anybody else for any of this. But I didn't have a program when I come out of there. My thought process, I want to leave treatment to play hockey. You know, I need to get back playing. And it never worked out. You know, I never really, you know, I had little length of sobriety, but nothing to the point where I could you know, really focus on what I was doing. And eventually, you know, as we all know, this thing is, you know, it takes and takes and takes, and it took everything, you know, for me to get sober. I like that video said, I basically had the cops come knock on my door and tell me that I was going to jail, you know. And then from that point, I kind of made a decision, right? And I really committed to getting sober at that point. You know, I had to change things in my life, and for me, you know, staying sober, getting sober was the hardest thing I had to do in my life. You know, anybody that's here that's sober one day or 20 years or 50 years, you know, it's unbelievable, because one day is all we have, right? Like I had to learn all these different ways to live, you know, and I have one day, and I literally live that way, you know. I think, honestly, you know, winning Stanley Cups was great and all those things, but the only reason I think I'm here is really to help other people stay sober. And that makes me more happy. If I can help one person, if I can fly from Boston to Pittsburgh today, and one person can stay sober, then I'm happy. That's all I can do, you know. I just, you know, we have to help each other. You know, that's, if you're an addict and if you're sitting here, you know, we have to help each other. You know, it's hard to stay sober. It's a hard thing to do. But there's a program out there. For me, it's Alcoholics Anonymous. That's how I live through the 12 steps, you know. I go to meetings, you know, I go, you know, I'm not hiding, like I get out and people know I have to save my life, right? It's Keven Stevens, the hockey player. I don't care anymore, you know. I need to be front and center about what I have to do to save my life, because if I don't, as you guys all know, it's very hard to stay sober alone. You know, you got to let other people in. You got to go to meetings. For me, what I'm telling you guys is just what I do. You know, you guys don't. No one has to do what I do, but how I do it is I have to have other people in my life that are trying to do the same things, you know. I need positive people in my life. Negativity is not good, you know. But it's all part of this whole ordeal of addiction. It's a very hard thing to do, but it's so very satisfying. And being sober is the best thing I've ever done. Getting sober is the best thing I've ever done in my life. You know, I can do everything. I can do everything I want to do now. You know, I can work for the Penguins. I can actually, you know, be a good employee. I can do things. But the first thing, you know, one of the best things I've ever heard was, you know, I have to put AA or I have to put addiction, sobriety first in my life, you know. Because if I don't put it first, it's not second, third, or fourth. I'll tell you that right now, you know. If I don't put this thing first, then I have nothing. And and that's the biggest thing that I can tell you guys tonight is, you know, put this thing first in your life. You know, I used to put my kids, put my wife, I put my family, I put everything, you know, I got to make sure they're okay. But, you know, if we're not okay, then, you know, they're not going to be okay. You know, and you guys kind of saw that whole story there and that. But, you know, I guess, you know, I'm proof that anything can happen if you put your mind to it. Because like I said, I was way up here, guys, and I went way down here. You know, you guys saw that whole thing. I went down, and you know, one day at a time, you can do this thing, right? That's all we have is one day at a time. But I'm not going to sit here and bore you with my story, but it's good to be here. I'd like, you know, if you guys have any questions at all, I'll take any questions. I don't know how, you know, you know, if you guys have any questions for me, just fire away because I'll answer any question you guys want, you know. I don't know how you...
Oh, hold on. Did you sell away your fortune to drugs?
Did I sell away my fortune? Yeah, I spent a lot of money. You know, I think the biggest thing I can tell you in addiction. If you have $10, if you have $10 million, right? If you're stuck in addiction, you're spending your money. You know, it's if you know, till you stop and then you find a reason. But you know, I made a lot of money. And I spent a lot of money. You know, it's just the way it is. You know, I'm lucky. I had some of it nailed down. I couldn't get at it, but if I could get at it, I was going to spend it. That's just the reckless addiction nature of the beast. You know, it's a terrible thing, but that's what it was for me.
Thank you for your story. That was super powerful. I have like 30 questions, but I'm going to ask 3 if that's cool. And I'm Dan, and I'm an alcoholic too. What is the most important thing you do on a daily basis to stay sober?
I think the biggest thing I do every day when I wake up, I you know, the first thing I do, I have to remind myself some way that, you know, I'm an addict and I'm addicted to drugs, and I need to work on this thing every single day. So basically, I roll over and I hit my knees, and I ask God to help me. You know, I need help. Like a lot of people, you know, the only way I know how this works, I was the only way someone told me how to do that. Right? I didn't roll out of bed and, you know, all of a sudden get on my knees and start praying, asking God to help me. You know, but I told me to do that, and I did it. And I didn't even really know what I was doing, but I know I wasn't going to the drug dealers. You know, my car wasn't driving to the drug dealer's house like it was before, so it was working for me. So the first thing I try to do, I try to get out and remind myself, you know, what I am, you know, and I got to make sure I realize that every day.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
How difficult is it being a former professional hockey player and sports icon and also being a member of Alcoholics Anonymous?
Yeah, you know what? I think that's a good question because, you know, we're here. Like I'm here. Like I have to save my life, right? I have to take it daily, and I have to really save my life. It's not about, you know, for a lot of times in meetings, it was like I was a hockey player, and you know, people, you know, would talk, you know, would come up to me and talk to me, and they ask me dumb questions about things that they weren't really dumb questions, but they were things to me that were, you know. But till I kind of just accepted being, you know what, I'm going to be, this is the way it's going to be. I have to, you know, I have to be here. And basically, I've built a foundation the last 7 years that, you know, I have 20 or 25 guys I go to meetings with probably 3 times a week where we have men's meetings and where I go. So it's the same kind of group of guys. And I go to some other meetings too, but it's been, you know, it's a process. But you know what? We're all here, right? We're all here for one thing, right? Try to stay sober one day at a time, and that's what I got to do. And I have to remember that it's not the hockey player. It's not it's me. My brain. If you're an addict and you're in this room, my brain is the same as yours. I just picked up a hockey stick and played hockey. You know.
Thank you too. I thought you would say Yins because we're in Pittsburgh. But,
yeah.
This is my favorite question. Actually, he asked it. What's the greatest thing that happened in your recovery so far?
Greatest thing that's happened to me, you know what? The biggest thing that I've seen 2 of my other friends get sober. Like, you know, when I've been sober here, and they came to me, and I was able to help them, you know, get sober. To me, you know, because I know how hard it is. One of my friends had a family, and now he's back with his family. His kids are in his life again. So, you know, if I can help someone get sober, you know, to me it's so important to me. You know, that's what makes me happy. You know, because I know how hard it is, and I know how much it takes. You know.